You know that incredibly awkward feeling when you understand native slang perfectly in a meeting, but the second you try to type it in a casual work email, you just feel completely fake, like an absolute imposter.
Oh my God, yes. Your fingers just literally freeze over the keyboard and you're just staring at the screen.
Exactly. So, welcome back to English Unfiltered. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie.
And for today's deep dive, we are jumping straight into why this happens. Like, why trying to sound natural actually feels so terrifying, and what is actually going on in your brain when you try to type out these casual phrases.
It is such a fascinating dynamic because, we spend all these years mastering what is basically textbook English, which is fine, but...
Right, which feels incredibly safe. Like, to me, textbook English is basically like wearing this standard invisible uniform.
Invisible uniform, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's structured, it's totally neutral, it's emotionally distant. You put it on, nobody really notices the clothes, and you just do your job. But slang, using casual native expressions feels like you're taking off that safe uniform and putting on, I don't know, a flamboyant costume. You're suddenly performing someone else's personality.
That is the perfect way to visualize it, honestly.
Yeah.
And there is a real concrete psychological reason for that exact feeling. It's called identity tension.
Identity tension. Wait, so what does that actually mean in practice?
Well, so textbook language is processed in your brain almost purely as utility. It is literally just data transfer.
Just getting the point across.
Right. But slang is intensely personal. It's totally identity-based. So when you use it, your brain actually resists the phrasing.
Wait, really? Your brain fights it?
Oh, absolutely. Because it hasn't mapped those casual emotional words to your internal sense of self yet. You don't identify with the words.
So you literally feel like an actor reading someone else's script. Like you're sitting there thinking, is this me? Do I sound ridiculous typing cheers right now?
Precisely. You're having a clash between your native identity and your new target language identity.
And doing this in person is hard enough, right? But doing it in an email, that is a completely different level of panic.
Oh, emails are the absolute worst for this.
Because you are just staring at the phrase "no worries" and sweating over hitting send.
Because an email just strips away all your psychological safety nets. I mean, it removes your tone of voice, your body language, your facial expressions.
You're delivering this whole costume performance with zero supporting context.
Exactly. And you have nothing to hide behind.
But I would actually argue the worst part isn't what you can't convey, but what you can't receive back.
Oh, you mean the lack of feedback?
Yes.
Yeah.
The lack of immediate social feedback is what makes it so terrifying. Like, think about it. If I use a new casual phrase in the break room, I instantly see the other person smile or nod,
Right, you get that instant validation.
Yeah, I immediately know I'm safe. But an email.
Well, neurologically speaking, when you take a social risk, like adopting a new cultural marker, your amygdala just spikes.
That's the threat center, right?
Yeah. The brain's threat center. So face-to-face, a positive reaction instantly downregulates that threat response.
Yeah.
The brain says, okay, cool, we are accepted. But when you hit send on an email...
You are plunged into a totally silent vacuum. You are just sitting there overanalyzing every single word choice.
Refreshing the inbox.
Yes. Thinking, did cheers sound too British? Are they reading this thinking I'm trying way too hard to fit in?
Which just proves that language is not just dictionary vocabulary. I mean, it is fundamentally tied to emotional authenticity.
So stepping out of that safe textbook zone to use social language is an actual, genuine emotional risk.
It really is. It takes a lot of vulnerability.
Okay, but I want to push back on this a little bit, though, because if a learner feels like a complete fake typing these casual phrases and their brain is firing off literal threat signals, aren't they by definition actually faking it?
That is a really fair point.
Right. Like, why push people to use slang if it causes this much psychological dissonance? Why not just wear the safe uniform forever?
Because avoiding the costume actually prevents true fluency. I mean, that uncomfortable feeling of being a fake, it isn't a sign of failure at all.
It's not.
No, it is actually the physical sensation of psychological adaptation.
Wait, how so? What do you mean by adaptation?
Well, when you adopt new cultural markers, your brain experiences cognitive dissonance. It's trying to reconcile your old self-image with this brand new behavior.
So it's like a growing pain.
Exactly. You literally have to tolerate feeling like an imposter for a sustained period so your neural pathways can integrate this new expression into your actual identity.
Wow. So you have to endure the costume phase before your brain accepts it as your real clothes.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, yes. The discomfort simply means the psychological boundaries of who you are in that new language are expanding.
That is so crazy. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? I guess the big takeaway here is that true fluency isn't just a matter of memorizing more vocabulary or mastering grammar rules.
Not at all. It is this slow, highly uncomfortable process of becoming emotionally comfortable with another version of yourself.
It's about letting that new identity settle in. So I will leave you with this to chew on. The next time you hesitate, with your finger just hovering over the send button on a casual work email, ask yourself, which version of you is actually typing?